I'm Garrett Bergquist, and joining me is Jefferson City mayoral candidate Roy Viessman. Roy, why are you running for mayor?
Well, you know what, Garrett, I've been asked that a lot. And this might be a little bit of a roundabout way to answer it, but I think I want to qualify the statement. Going door to door, and one of the things I was asked a couple of different times, why do you want to get involved in this mess? All right, this mess. And I simply stated this. I said, our forefathers, they pledged their honor, their fortune, and their lives. And I'd like to believe that I'm cut from just a little bit of that cloth. So why am I running for mayor? Because I believe it is my duty, and I believe I have quite a bit to offer in regard to zeal, fervor, passion for this city, and I believe in being aggressive and progressive. That's part of what this is part of what I'm about.
What do you think is the single biggest issue facing the city?
The single biggest issue that I'm hearing at the doors and hearing in the process of speaking, even in groups of people, they're concerned about jobs. We're not concerned so much, I don't hear crime. I don't hear that we have an inadequate police department or we have an inadequate fire department. I don't hear that, but I hear jobs. You know, we just lost, a year and a half ago, we lost R.R. Donnelly. We lost 450 jobs. So that is a concern. So we have to address that.
And how would you go about addressing that?
How do I address that? You know, I spoke about that yesterday. I think we have to use the same method as somebody selling an automobile. Go out, contact various people and say, wait a minute, what can we do to gain your business? And then once we get the business, what can we do to keep it? Now, I'm proposing an industrial commission, something they had 30 some years ago. It's a conglomeration of very successful people that are picked from various not necessarily corporations, but various businesses. Put these people together, and we're going to have obviously we're going to in a gathering, we'll be able to get ideas and not hopefully, I'm telling you positively, we're going to be able to bring people to this town, bring businesses to this town. It's important, and it has to be pursued.
Over the last few months, a number of residents have expressed concerns over abandoned properties in Jefferson City.
Yes.
How do you think that should be addressed?
Well, first of all, we've got some coding issues that we're going to have to embrace, and also you're probably talking somewhat, Garrett. I think you might be speaking a little bit of the East End. There's a lot of abandoned properties over there, and some of this is going to be addressed, and also I think in accordance with and also in concert with the MSP project we have over there. So yes, that is an issue, and also we got the historical people involved with that. So it's going to be a combination of we have to gather, we have to talk, we have to see what's the best way to address it, and then move forward. We can't analyze till we paralyze. We got to move forward with this.
A couple of years ago, the council considered but ultimately rejected a plan for a conference center in the city. Yeah. Do you think that is something the city should revisit, and if so, how?
Garrett, this is a very hot button. I mean a very hot button. Speaking to a number of people yesterday, we were all seated at a table, and I introduced myself, and one of them was very adamant. It was a lady, and she said, if you're for the conference center, she says, I'm through with you. I'm not even going to talk to you. And I said, well, ma'am, there's a couple of things. Have you considered this? I said, we've got $2.2 million that are in sort of a safety box, if you will. That's the terminology used. And I said, we're gaining to the point of between $400,000 and $600,000 a year off the lodging tax. And I said, how can we possibly justify using that money for something else other than the way that it was initially slated and sold? So I said, I didn't really say specifically what we were going to do, but there is a point, and it's coming up. We're going to have to address it, and it's going to have to be addressed with the money that we currently have. One way or another, not certain yet, but time will tell the story.
What issue do you think is not getting enough attention on the city council right now?
I think it's the transportation. Matter of fact, we're going to be addressing that a little bit more tonight. There's a lot of people feel that they don't, some of them don't have adequate transportation, they can't get to work. It might be the hours of service that we're talking about. Another thing that is a great concern is the students at Lincoln University. And I'm proposing that, I mean, this has to be looked at very carefully, looking at maybe extending the hours, maybe extending the days, and perhaps we need to look at, I don't know if this has already been visited, but these smaller vans are easier to, they're easier to operate, they're less expensive, and this is something that we're gonna have to address it. I mean, at some point, after all, it's good for the city. People come to town, they spend their money, the residual is the taxes, but regardless of that, we've got to provide service.
There are 6 people running for mayor of Jefferson City.
Yeah.
In one sentence, why should the voters pick you?
I think I have the zeal, the fervor, the passion, and I have the wherewithal to get the job done. I have a lot of hours I'm going to dedicate to it, and I think my past experiences will prove that.
Roy Viessman, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Garrett. It's a delight to be on your show.